This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back into the Fast Break for episode 3 of the 2024-2025 preview season, or it's the whole episode is episode 3. It's really going to be like episode, 7, because we're cutting them into 3 episodes each. I'm going to ignore that. My name is Jake Neverman. I'm here with my wonderful co-host, wonderful co-host today, Ricky Widmer.
So it is going to be still episode 3. They're just split into 3 parts. So it's part A, B, and C.
We're on episode 3. And Dave Oster.
Hey, everybody.
How we doing today, guys? Doing all right?
I'm doing okay. These are the two. We're doing 2 in one day. This is the small forwards. I'm excited for these two because these two positions are like a brisket. It's juicy.
I'm uncomfortable.
I don't think you can top that, Dave. But today we'll be going through our small forwards.
Dave, you can't top that. Just ignores it.
As a disclaimer, as always, these starting lineups are our best guesstimates, our estimations as to what the starting lineups will be on opening night. So guys like Mitchell Robinson, guys like Kristaps Porzingis are not included. If you're wondering, we are recording this the week before, so Julius Randle trade actually happened. I called it the Julius Randle trade. The Carl
headliner, that isn't he?
The player I like the most, I'll call it the Dante DiVincenzo trade because we love white Dante. Dante DiVincenzo, Julius Randle are headed to
Technically, the trade hasn't gone through yet.
I'm just saying the Sham Wow popped on Saturday night. And so we're recording this a couple days later. Media day for most, if not all, the teams happened today, I believe. And also, we'll catch you off guard a little bit of sad news. Dikembe Mutombo did pass away today. I didn't know about that. Yeah, I didn't know. I wanted to ask because you guys are more of the, no offense, the older age group that would have seen the end of Dikembe Mutombo's career. Do either of you have like an on the court Mutombo like memory or anything like that you guys remember?
Come on.
I'm asking.
From first off, Mutombo on the Hawks. A little bit of Michael Jordan looking over at him, closed his eyes, shot a free throw, then dunked on him too and gave him the finger after the dunk. Oh, no, I'm dunking on you.
It's just a tremendous human being. He's honestly known more for his off the court stuff than he was on the court.
Mm-hmm.
Only 58
humanitarian, as I believe they call that.
Yeah, he did work. Yeah, he did work in Congo. He did work in the Congo. He really helped build up the NBA's brand and basketball's brand in general in Africa and helped start all that. So rest in peace. Thought we should mention that as we start off because that did happen today as we were recording.
He was on those Sixer teams, right? The AI.
He was on the finals.
AI Sixer teams.
Yeah, he was good too. There was a playoff game. I can't remember who they were playing, but he had some fantastic playoff performances for the Sixers, even though he kind of gets the label of it was late in his career, but he still played, I think, 8 years.
That was old man Mutombo at that point.
Yeah, but he played until like 2007, I think it was, or 2006.
Mm-hmm. He stuck around, yeah.
He played,
Defense stuff.
Defense lives. Defense lives. Yeah, so Derek Lively's got like 20 more years.
He's easily.
But also, we didn't mention, if you did listen through all of our rambling and all that, please hit that like button down below, hit that subscribe button, and if you would like, hit that bell notification right next to the subscribe button, because then you will know each and every time that we do post a video or go live, because that'll eventually happen once we progress into the NBA season. And also down below, Patreon link is down there with the Discord link. The Patreons, you can watch this live as we are recording this on Monday, September 30th. You can watch this live, comment. Also, if you join the Discord down below, it's going to be a little bit late for rankings because we are recording our center rankings in 2 weeks. So you could get in on that and our team rankings. You could get in on both of those as Ricky pours himself a cherry. Was it a cherry Pepsi?
Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper. You're right. Dr. Pepper.
Not sponsored, by the way, but Dr. Pepper if you want to sponsor us. Barks if you want to sponsor. Barks is man.
Yeah, I love it. All right. Without further ado, let's get to the 30 through 21 of our small forward list. I am going to start out on our cumulative list. We all did our own list. We brought together the point system to give us our cumulative rankings, and then any tiebreakers were decided by the Discord's rankings. So for this episode, shout out Soapy, shout out Sean, and shout out our boy Retro. They all completed their list, so we used theirs as the tiebreakers for this list. So let's get into it. At number 30, we have from, I almost said the Dallas Mavericks, the Charlotte Hornets, Josh Green. From the Cleveland Cavaliers at 29, Max Strus. At number 28, from the Detroit Pistons, we got Fontecchio. I love that name. What a name.
Great name.
27 from the Atlanta Hawks, we got DeAndre Hunter. 26 from the Indiana Pacers, we have Aaron Nesmith. 25 from the Houston Rockets, we have Dylan Brooks. 24 from the I said the he threw me off. I was thinking the Houston again. The Brooklyn Nets, DFS, Dorian Finney-Smith. Number 23 from the San Antonio Spurs, Harrison Barnes. Number 22 from still the Washington Wizards, which is a little bit
surprising.
Surprising, I would say. Kyle Kuzma. And at number 21 from the Portland Trailblazers, Denny Avdia. So, Dave, before I ask you about any players, you got a little surprised look on your face when I read out some of the names. What are you surprised by on this list?
I guess I feel like somehow we're still disrespecting Dylan Brooks after last year. Like, I know that, like, he, had like a red hot start to the season and was shooting great. And then things kind of came back down to earth for the most part, but he's still one of the best defenders in the NBA on the wing. And yeah, he's a bit of a shithead, but like we understand and we love him when he's our shithead. So I just think, I'm sorry, I forgot already. I think that maybe I'm choosing to value his defense, his toughness, his ability to get under other players' skin, and kind of his role on that Rockets team. Doing that, I really value that a lot. So I think that I viewed him a little bit higher than you guys. That's the one that stood out the most to me because I was just like, look, he's kind of a proven guy, and like I get it. He got clowned down in the playoffs for like the series against Golden State. It's like, did you expect them to beat Golden State? No, it's not like him, making comments and whatever, getting under people's skin. Or was it Lakers? Either way, dude is just there to talk, stir the pot, and then play incredible defense, and he did it. Last year, he bit of a chucker start, but now they've got a lot of guys there getting shots up for, and I think he's a great team player. I think he's a team player. Okay. I think he's all in. So,
Ricky, anything that surprises you off this list, off this first chunk of the small forwards?
I mean, I just want to reply to that real quick.
Yeah.
Dead last. He's the worst small forward in the league. He's a meme. That's all he is. Is a meme.
Oh, this is the guy.
A straight meme,
You're
baby.
The reason?
He's literally a meme. That's all Dylan Brooks is. Oh, he plays defense. He talks crap. No, he's a meme. That's all he is. I'd rather have anyone else out there than him.
This is like payback for years of talking about Draymond Green and how
I'd rather have Max Strus out there.
Okay, let's not disrespect Max Strus.
No, I like Max. The Strus is loose. DePaul.
I will say this is a list that has
ILL,
a lot.
Baby.
This is a list that has a lot of depth. I like, even when you look at guys that are in this bottom tier here, like Denny Avdia, I was higher than most of you guys. I think I was the highest on him in this list. I think he's such a quality player. I don't want to, but like, I think like there's only a couple guys in this list that I would be like they aren't really starting quality players anymore. But yeah, I would almost concur with you on Dylan Brooks. I was looking at my list. I probably had him 2 or 3 slots lower than I should have. I probably should have had him a couple higher. We'll get into some guys in the next list that I think should not be there at all. But I think Dylan Brooks is good. I think the Houston Rockets, I think we talked a little bit about them last time. They're just a little bit of a confusing product at this moment because you don't know still who are their guys. And they have this mixture of young guys who have incredible upside. But then at the same time, you have these veterans. Like you look at Fred VanVleet, you look at Dylan Brooks, who can impact.
Steven Adams.
Yeah, Steven Adams now too. Impact winning now. But what is their ceiling, I guess? And what are the roles that they're going to play? Are they going to stunt the development more of their bucket load of wings?
Please no more Jeff Green minutes.
Did this Unk? You mean Unk? That's what they were calling him by the end of the team. Yeah. So I don't know. I think I probably could have him a little bit higher, but I do probably think he still needs to end up in this 21 through 30 list if it were up to me.
Sure. Ricky, anything for you that jumped out
in this list
on the 21 through 30 section? Because like there's one name that I'm just whatever about.
Well, there's one name that I don't want to say jumped out. But am I just too low on this guy's team? And like looking at the other rankings, I guess maybe not because Dave had him in the same way. But like Fontecchio, I had him right above Dylan Brooks. Like he's 29. That's nothing against him. It's just like he was good. Like not like great, but he was good for the Jazz. But like going over to the Pistons, how good is he gonna be on the Pistons? People,
I mean,
like we used to joke that like, what was it? Oh, who was the team? The black hole of offense, or was that a player? There was a team I thought that was like the black hole that like you go there and you're just bad. That's the Pistons. That's where careers go to die. It's the Shadowlands.
Who was that? Who was the black hole offense?
The black hole of offense.
I believe it was. Well, I know we used to call it Terrence Ross.
The supernova offense, but there was a black hole of offense.
There was a black hole of offense. I don't remember who it was.
I mean, who would you pass the ball to? He would never shoot. Or he'd never not shoot.
Never pass it back.
There's a lot of players that do that.
Does describe
that might have been, to be honest with you, that might be early career Malik Monk. I might be early career Malik Monk.
No, he was the moist one.
He was always
you're right. He was the moist one. I'll be honest with you, and I think Fontecchio is too low. Okay. I think Fontecchio is a tremendous wing that I was interested in being on the Sixers because he gives you a lot of like. I think he's better than DeAndre Hunter. I think he's better than Aaron Neesmith.
And I think he's
that. I think no. I'm ignoring the contract right now.
Neesmith, really.
But you know who I think he's way better than that I think we need to touch on too? There is no world where Harrison Barnes should be 23. He was atrocious.
Yeah,
last year.
He probably is riding on his name brand more so than
his 1,000,000%.
Yeah, I'll admit to that. That's not a.
I will be honest with you. I'll give you my bottom 5 was Josh Green, Max Strus, DeAndre Hunter, Harrison Barnes, and Fontecchio. Now Fontecchio I think is clear above the other 4. I think I think Strus and Josh Green are good players. I just don't know how reliable I'd be willing to rely on them as starters. You know what I mean? Like Strus is good because he plays in that lineup where he has no ball handling responsibility and his defensive responsibility is minimal. Like,
he's a role player.
But well, all these guys are really, but like they just Cleveland needed somebody that isn't Isaac Okoro to go out there.
I was going to bring that up.
Not be a negative. You know what I mean? Like, can you make open threes? Yes. Can you at least move on defense? Yes. Okay. You're going to start. I mean, it's all it was.
Yeah.
I guess the Fontecchio thing is, I think it is because he's a Piston that people are going to underrate him. We'll talk about another Piston in the power forward that's always overrated. But
guys trying to get me in trouble with the Pistons already. I'm not buying in. I'm not going to start the conversation.
I wasn't even going at it because of that. I'm just like, he's the one that I'm like, am I just low on the Pistons? So therefore, by like, what is it? The associative property?
Yeah.
Therefore he is low because the Pistons are low.
No, because I think we looked at Cade Cunningham. We had Cade Cunningham extremely high because we all believe in him as a player, even if he is a Piston. I think Fontecchio, if he was on a contender team, would be one of those guys.
Or still on the Jazz.
My mind's blanking right now. Like, who got traded? Like, not to this degree. Let me stress that to the maximum.
Oh, you know that doesn't mean anything with you saying that.
As soon as OG Anunoby went from the Raptors to the Knicks, he became top 3 defensive wing in the NBA. He's mini Kawhi Leonard. He was the same player that he was in Toronto, but he was on the New York Knicks in a bigger market and affecting a winning team. So they're like, wow, he's amazing.
I'm not saying that's fair,
exactly. Fontecchio is not that. Let me just stress that he's not OG Anunoby. We'll talk about OG later.
Yeah,
but Fontecchio is a guy who I could see playing big minutes for a playoff team in the first, second, third round, and he would not look out of place.
Okay.
As a wing role player, let me say that.
Yeah, I mean, I think he falls in that uber similar category to me of like Dorian Finney-Smith. Like he is basically a cheaper version of DFS. I think maybe a better shooter right now, which is nice. But Dorian's played like off ball from some of the best players in the NBA, and I don't know that Fontecchio will have that opportunity anytime soon. So we'll have to see what he can do when it comes to like playing playoff minutes and what he looks like during those minutes. Because you're projecting out and like I like the idea of him. Yeah, he's a solid wing, but like I don't know that he jumps out compared to basically what a baseline 3-and-D player would be in the playoffs, like a low usage kind of guy.
But
your Tobias Harris's of the world.
Well, Tobias Harris neither makes 3 or plays defense.
How many $1 million did he get?
They paid. We'll talk about him next episode. Relax.
Sorry, had to.
DFS, I have DFS above Fontecchio, but the one thing Fontecchio can do better than DFS is he actually can dribble the ball and move. DFS is a strictly catch and shoot guy. He doesn't have something. I'm looking for a dribble handoff. I'm looking to swing the ball back, entry pass, something like that. Fontecchio actually could put the ball on the floor, and we saw that more in Detroit because they were so desperate
But should we see that is my point. Like, it's great that he has the ability to, but like, if you're at the situation where you need Fontecchio to put the ball on the floor, that's probably already lost.
That's the Pistons, all right. But I'm saying he has the ability to do it.
Okay,
which is something that DFS does not.
And again, we've only seen him for basically with this one season. He did come over, as an older player, so like I'm excited to see what he can do in the NBA. But like, it's very much like, we'll see. He's basically going to gain the starting role because of spacing. We can all be honest about that for the Pistons. Like, there's a lot of young guys in the Pistons who probably would be like, Ron Holland should be starting at the 3 for them. Yeah, well, Ron Holland shoots like 20% from 3, so they can't put out Ron Holland next to Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey. Like, that's just a bad idea right now. You definitely can't put Asar Thompson shooting 12% from 3. Like, they've got some limitations up there in Detroit. And I'm not trying to pick on you all the time, Detroit, but Fontecchio seems to be the plug-and-play kind of guy that you want on that roster moving forward. So I'm happy for you. Yeah. He's not, just because we rate him lowly. He's still a pretty good player. Still pretty happy with him.
Yeah, shoot it back to you, Dave. You actually have Kyle Kuzma up at 16 on your list.
That's the guy I'm like, he's I think we can all acknowledge, like, he got squeezed to the small forward because of Alex Sarr.
Yeah, hold on, Ricky's.
No, he said acknowledge, so I'm acknowledging.
Oh, okay, you're right.
Good call.
That's something we got to do. Whenever someone says acknowledge, we do this.
I just want to, for context, Ricky has Kuzma at 25. Mm-hmm. I have Kuzma at 21.
So y'all smoking.
Also, by the way,
21 is 5 spots off. It's not that far.
I do get to cut in here. I do want to say greetings and salutations to you, John. He commented on our Patreon post.
Oh, sweet.
Recording.
Love that.
Salutations.
I do love that.
J-Dub.
Always respect.
J-Dub, stick around for the Power Forward episode when we get to talk about Tobias Harris. You'll love it.
Oh my God.
Kuzma.
Yeah, just because he doesn't play for a team that actually wants to win basketball games, I just think that he's incredibly underrated because he's just putting up insane numbers on like a dog team. And I do think that he can get ball hungry because he is playing on that team that basically last year shifted things around so much that it was him and Denny down the stretch, and you got really good performances out of both of them. So I don't know. I think Kuzma is probably being slept on from a talent standpoint. He's got all the pieces. He can bounce and I'm trying to find a nice way to say look, he's Wish brand, Jason Tatum. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Do you remember when they got drafted and it was Tatum and Kuzma?
That's why. Yeah. That's why I was there was always the comparison. They're always stuck together because of that rookie year, matchup between the two of them. Yeah. Who's better because they're putting up different stats, different teams. But I think that he has a ton of talent. I just think he's on a team that stinks, and I don't know why we haven't seen a team try to go get him. Because he's seemingly cool with just staying there in Washington, which nobody else has really been thrilled about. So to me, it's weird. And that's the guy I was like, I wonder if Memphis is looking to do something.
Is he okay with being there because expectations are low? So he doesn't have any pressure on him?
He literally played with the Lakers for a ring.
But it's more is it like a, hey, you know what? I got my ring. I don't got a ring chase. I can just stay here, low pressure. I can just ball out and hoop.
I don't know. It might be a him thing, but I just think that he's someone who has a ton of value in my mind. Mm-hmm. And he has basically fallen completely off the radar because he just plays on a team that doesn't matter as soon as December hits.
Yeah, I think probably the only
gaudy stats. Yeah, maybe that's all it is to me. But he's got tools and he can bang in the paint, and he can be a really good, strong player. So I'm. No.
Yeah, I think the only issue is that you're facing now is he makes $20 million a year for this season and 2 more. And with the new, I know, but with the new tax bill and the new aprons and all that, a team has to have that space to go and get him and be able to fulfill. Because I bet you his numbers are good enough. The Wizards are going to have a semi-high price to trade for him. You know what I mean?
That's probably
so. It's kind of the problem you see with Levine too, right? Levine could obviously help somebody out. We'll talk about him later in this episode, but. If you have that kind of a gaudy contract, which Kuzma, $20 million is not gaudy, but when you're looking at the role,
a very realistic one.
Yeah, it's 21, 20, 19, I think, for the next 3 years.
So you got descending contract offer here. I don't know. I feel like I'm trying to sell this man out of town, but I want to see him play meaningful basketball again, and I think that this ranking is purely him being on the Washington Wizards rather than.
But it's the same thing that I said with Fontecchio.
Yeah.
Like if they go to a better team, they rise. That's just how it is, to be honest with you. Like if you look at the other rankings, right? Like there's so many guys that are probably more talented than the people above them, but they're lower because of their situation. Yeah, I think, like I stated before, there's some guys that I have Kuzma above in my rankings that somehow made it higher in our rankings and our combined, and I see the culprit now. So we will get to that when we get to that. But I think Kuzma, I had Kuzma at 21. I could see him anywhere from like 18 to 21. So I could see him like you had him up at 16. My question is, Ricky, I'll go to you with this.
Go ahead.
We have DeAndre Hunter in here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that he's going to be starting by the end of the year is my question. Or do you think that Richardson is going to take over his starting job?
I could see Worcestershire sauce taking over the starting role, but it's just like, so I had Hunter in the bottom 5.
Yeah.
Like how you said your bottom 5, my bottom 5 was going from bottom top. Dylan Brooks, Fontecchio, Josh Green, Max Strus, Hunter. And it's just like, I don't think it's a factor of will he be starting, won't he be starting? I just think it's depending, like, you look at all the other small forwards in the league, it's kind of like what we said about Strus, but maybe think, like, you've kind of sold me that Strus should be higher than Hunter. That's where I'm thinking what my rankings should have changed, because he fits a role on the Hawks, but he's not the reason the Hawks move.
Yeah.
And to be higher on the list, the team has to move. Like, you have to be the reason the team moves, if that makes sense.
Well, you had Harrison Barnes above all of them, and
yeah. We're going off of vibes. He's on the Spurs. Yeah. Spurs full team basketball, baby. He gonna be involved. Papa's gonna get the most out of him.
I was gonna say, I think Harrison Barnes is the reason the team stops.
So yeah, but when you've got the best coach in the league, well, second best coach in the league.
Yeah, but I mean, with Hunter though, I just look at Hunter and I'm like, this guy peaked so early in his career, and we just watch him get hurt year after year after year after year now, and I'm just like, cool. So this is who you are. They gave you the money, and you're still the same guy, and there's no getting better really. I've not seen, and again, certain aspects of his game might have gotten slightly improved, but like I think for the most part, people are just kind of disappointed with the fact
he
that
was out of Virginia. No,
I could see it.
Right?
Yeah,
he was on that Virginia championship team.
I don't know. Yeah, I believe he was actually
the one with Cal guy.
He definitely was Virginia, though. Yes.
Yeah, he was Virginia. But yeah, it just feels like he's not been able to take that step forward. Whether it's part of his health, whether it's part of the system and the way that the Hawks utilize him. Yeah. I don't know. I lean health is a problem, but like if you're not out on the court consistently, it's hard to carve out your own space to play with. So I think that he's gonna lose his spot. He's been on the block for a year already. So. They're trying to move him. I don't know who wants him. They've been trying to move Clint Capella too. Guess what?
Wow.
Same problem. But I mean, that's the thing. Like the Hawks are stuck in the
championship team, by the way.
Nice. The Hawks are stuck in that no man's land after they move on from DeJounte Murray. They're like, cool. Trae Young's our dude. We're gonna build around him again. Reset. Still got time, and I just feel like DeAndre Hunter is like, we handed out some cash to a guy too early, and unfortunate, They're just stuck with him at the moment. I would lean towards Richardson being a plug and play kind of guy on this team.
Yeah, it's been interesting because we harped on it last episode. I don't want to do it again, but the amount of people the Hawks have had that have fallen off over the last couple of years, especially since their 2021 run, is just interesting. Dave, I'll throw it back to you. Another guy who might not be starting by the end of the year, Aaron Nesmith. Do you think that Jarace Walker might overtake that spot?
Okay,
or Benedict Mathurin?
We both love Jarace Walker. So that's
I just want to say that Rick Carlisle said today he sees Jarace Walker as a 3 in their system. Just so
they like the jumbo 3. He came into the NBA with that skill set of being a little bit of a ball handler, a little bit of a facilitator. Seemed like a smart guy with the ball in his hands sometimes. I remember watching the film with you actually from him in college.
Yeah.
So good times in the past. I think that Nesmith, very much like how we talked about Nembhard at the 2, Nesmith at the 3 was a sign of success in the playoffs. It was called, this is the lineup that worked for us really well. He was an absolute dog out there on defense. He was going at everybody. He was covering so much ground, and he was nailing his shots. Like, that's everything you ask for out of a wing player. He doesn't have, the ideal size that you would want out of a 3 maybe, but he is a really good role player. If they see that there's upside to go for a big swing kind of guy and he's more of a plug and play, I could see him falling to the bench, and like spot lineup usage probably is the best way to get time out of him, because if you're overly reliant on Halliburton and Pascal Siakam to generate all that offense, you have that option of like, hey, we can switch it up and put a Benedict Mathurin in there who can go get his own shots, who can go get to the line, who can change the way that defenses have to play on the court because he's out there. If Aaron Nesmith's out there, people aren't defending him the same way that they have to defend a Ben Mathurin. So, like, I think it's very much a gift of their depth right now in Indianapolis. And here's the thing. At the end of the year, he might not be a starter. But if we're 2 games into a playoff series, he might be a starter again. Like, that's the Rick Carlisle thing that I love, is, like, Rick will just roll with the guys who actually succeed on the floor. Like, he's not afraid to just switch up lineups until you get one that works, and then he'll roll with them if that works for that game, or that series, I should say.
Yeah, I find it interesting, Ricky. I'll throw it to you.
Yep.
The Knicks have now gone with Cat, so now they can go double big, and Cat and Mitchell Robinson down low. The Sixers obviously can go big. Say they put Yabusele and whatever, like they can go big at the end, or they can go.
They go wide.
Wide, yes, not big, wide. You have the Celtics, who, if Porzingis is healthy, you go with Horford and Porzingis. My question is, if they face a team like that in the playoffs again, because when they played the Celtics, obviously Porzingis wasn't healthy. Do you think that Jarris Walker maybe slotting in would help them accommodate with the size and be able to switch 3 through 5 basically? Or do you think, like where Dave said, they just roll with what worked last year? Because I always like to say, don't get caught in the moment, because Nembhard and Nesmith were so great, but that can go away, like we see with the Hawks, so quickly when you get into the next season.
I'm going to kind of relate it. You kind of said it, and I'm going to say it in a different way. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Like, if it worked one time, don't, unless it's like catastrophically, like, okay, we need to make a change. But like, also it's like, and I'm going to steal something from John here, because John's commenting on the Patreon page, J-Dub, and he says, maturing is a part of Pacers' core moving forward. And it's like, I don't know if Walker, if I trust him yet. And I don't know if that's a me thing. I don't know if you guys would trust, but it's like the younger players, it's like sometimes, like, I don't know if I trust you in that moment yet, young blood.
Did you mean Mathurin or maturing?
I probably meant Mathurin.
Okay, just double checking. I was like, they do need to mature. They are an extremely young team.
That was actually a really good point.
That's why I was like,
that was actually a really good point. You should just stuck. You should just.
Well, that was John saying the maturing part. I was taking that.
Yeah, Benedict Mathurin could come in.
But the thing with Walker is still true. Like some of the young players, like, do I trust you in that moment? Like, pick and play any of them. It's like there's very few that I'm going to be like, yes, biggest moment of our season. I'm gonna put you in it.
I was going to say, I think a lot though is overstated about like being ready. It's a sink or swim league, right?
Yep.
Nembhard had never been in those situations. Absolutely killed it as soon as he got into them. Nesmith had never really gotten the shot to be in that situation in Boston. Goes to Indy, they trust him. Boom, does great. Halliburton had never been in those situations before. Absolutely came to it like easily. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I don't buy into the whole like. I hate bringing.
It's just how much trust you have in a guy. So it comes back to.
Yeah, but like I don't. Okay, and this is the new head versus the old head thing. The old head is that you don't trust young guys, blah blah blah. But Rick Carlisle doesn't seem to have that problem. He is one of my favorite coaches in the league. And I've said this for years, especially when Dallas let him go. Him and Nick Nurse are kind of similar in this. They will just adapt, and whatever they can figure out that works, they'll roll with it. They're not like the old school of Doc Rivers, those kind of coaches where this is the way you play winning basketball. This is the no. If they throw out a random lineup, if it worked that Tyrese Halliburton and 4 centers worked, Rick Carlisle would throw 4 centers out on the court.
100%,
no shame. So yeah,
I mean we saw basically 4 guards and Siakam out there was the lineup that we had seen because there was a little Timothy John action out there, and it was like, okay, so the Pacers are basically like 5 guys who are 6'3" or under. That's an option. But like they just have that ability and that depth and that trust from their coach. You're right. He is one of the best basketball minds when it comes to offensive basketball. I'm gonna hard stop myself there because the Pacers' game plan has been and will continue to be, we'll just score more points than everyone else. And you know what? When life's simple, sometimes you don't gotta overthink it.
J-Dub also says Walker's best use is to defend jumbo wings.
Yeah.
He also has crazy ball handling for a guy that's that big, but Sorry, the last guy I want to talk about was Denny Vdia. Dave, I know you love Denny.
I do.
So I want to ask you, because we kind of had this discussion whenever the trade happened.
Yep.
How much, I guess the question is, how much of a steal value-wise do you think he could end up being for Portland in now this season, but also down the road in the future?
So much of his value is going to come down to how they can churn their roster, because I'm actually afraid what we saw out of him at the end of last year was like, we put the ball in Denny's hands and we let Denny do like things that he hadn't been able to do consistently throughout his career. And now we're putting him on a team where we have Scoot, we have Anthony, and we have Shaden Sharp. And I'm a little concerned at how much time he's actually going to have to actually work with the ball. I don't know. I got to stop saying the word actually. But I have concerns.
Saying
it
so much it's becoming a sound.
Yeah. I have concerns for how they're going to utilize him, what his actual role will be. It happened again. My brain's ruined.
Man. Segment one.
The problem is when it comes to that team, like Jeremy Grant still exists. They haven't traded him yet. We'll see if he gets moved. But that's one guy who needs to get fed. DeAndre Ayton, God knows what's going to happen with him. But like, it just feels like they have a bunch of guards who need the ball in their hand. Scoot can't play off ball. We know that. It's part of his game. He has to grow. I look forward to seeing him grow, continuing off where he left off on the high note last year. But when you got three guys who are primary ball handlers and you bring in Denny, who is like a jumbo wing ball handler who can create, make smart decisions, and is a hell of a defender, great. I don't know. I love him still, but I'm a little concerned for his future on the Portland Trailblazers until they maybe pick a vision for how their offense is going to work instead of just like roll the ball out there and see how it works, because that's how their coach is doing it right now.
Yeah.
I need a coach, I need a system, and then I can give you a future for him. But until then, I think this might be a notch back here.
Yeah,
I'm afraid.
I'd have to agree. As soon as they kept Chauncey, we talked about how disappointing it was and how sad it is that they're giving him another year.
Is there anything that happens that gets him fired? Because I only ask because we're not doing coaching rankings.
Nope. They clearly want to be bad again. They clearly want to tank for. They want to capture the flag.
Bailey or Cooper, yeah.
They're trying to play the capture the flag game. We'll see if they can
capture the flag, baby.
Yeah,
Bulls are gonna do. Let's cap that flag, baby.
Jeez. So yeah, for 21 through 30, we basically discussed everybody. Ricky, any final thoughts? Anybody you didn't talk about enough that you want to touch on before we move on?
Not really.
All good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Dave, you all good?
I'm Gucci.
Josh Green just exists.
Like, that's why I wasn't even. Yeah,
I don't even want to like. He
exists.
Are we all thinking that like he's not going to be their starter by some point? Because you asked about like a couple other guys, and I'm like, good. Josh Green just kind of seems like just another guy at the moment. Like we always try to keep hyping him up down there in Dallas, but he just never could be anything. So.
We didn't touch much on DFS because I assume we'll be talking about him later in the year because he's probably going to get traded. So at some point we'll be having a long-term DFS.
We've been trying to trade him for 3 years now.
Yeah, we'll see if they get their first round pick that they've been waiting for.
As always, we'd like to thank the people that make these videos possible, our patrons whose names are displayed on the screen now. If you would like to become a patron, go ahead and click the Patreon icon in the bottom right. And if you'd like to check out another video from MVP Sports, hit the video in the upper left. As always, thanks for watching.